You have probably done it 1,000 times. You plug your phone in before you go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, and it is sitting at 100%. Simple, convenient, perfectly normal. But somewhere along the way, someone told you that this was bad. That leaving your phone charging all night was slowly killing the battery. That you were supposed to unplug it before you slept. That 100% was somehow dangerous. And now, every time you plug it in at night, there is a small voice in the back of your head wondering, am I actually destroying this thing? Here is the truth. The answer is not what the myth says. But it is also not as clean as you are hoping. The real story of what happens inside your phone battery while you sleep is far more interesting than either side of this argument gets credit for. Welcome to History Behind Simple Things. Today, we are uncovering the real science behind overnight charging, what it actually does to your battery, what the research says, and whether you need to change anything at all. To understand what is happening, we first need to understand what a phone battery actually is. Modern smartphones use lithium-ion batteries. Inside every lithium-ion battery, there are two electrodes, a positive end and a negative end, separated by a chemical solution called an electrolyte. When your phone charges, lithium ions travel from the positive electrode to the negative one and park themselves there. When your phone discharges, they travel back. Every charge and discharge cycle is just millions of tiny ions moving back and forth. This process is not infinite. Each time those ions travel, they cause microscopic amounts of wear on the electrodes. Over hundreds and hundreds of cycles, that wear adds up. The battery slowly loses its ability to hold a full charge. This is called capacity degradation. It is completely normal. It happens to every battery on every phone ever made. The question is simply, how fast does it happen? Now here is where overnight charging comes in. And here is the first thing most people get wrong. Your phone is not stupid. Modern smartphones, every iPhone, every Android device made in roughly the last decade, have a chip inside called a battery management system. Its entire job is to protect the battery. When your phone reaches 100%, the battery management system stops the charge from going into the battery. Full stop. It switches to drawing power directly from the cable instead. So no, your battery does not sit at 100% getting continuously pushed with electricity all night. That is not what happens. The overcharging myth, the idea that electricity keeps pouring in and cooking the battery, is simply not accurate for any modern phone. But here is the part that does matter. And this is where the science gets genuinely interesting. Lithium-ion batteries have a peculiar characteristic. They are happiest, least stressed, least degraded, when they sit somewhere between 20% and 80% charge. At that range, the lithium ions settle comfortably across the electrodes without crowding or strain. But at 100%, the negative electrode is completely packed with ions. Tightly. Under pressure. And holding a battery at that fully packed state for extended hours does create a small but real amount of additional stress on the electrode structure. It is not dramatic. It is not going to ruin your battery overnight or even over a year. But over 2, 3, 4 years of every single night at 100%, that extra stress does add up to marginally faster degradation compared to a battery that regularly sits at a lower charge level. Think of it like a spring. Stretching a spring occasionally does no damage. But keeping it fully stretched every night, for years, means it will lose its tension slightly faster than a spring that was allowed to rest at a natural position. So what does the research actually say? Studies on lithium-ion battery longevity consistently show that the two biggest killers of battery health are heat and high charge levels held for long periods. Heat is the worst. Charging your phone while it sits in direct sunlight or leaving it on a thick blanket while it charges overnight and gets warm. That is far more damaging than the charge level alone. If your phone is cool while it charges overnight, the damage is minimal. The second factor is the full charge sitting for hours. And this is why Apple, Google, and Samsung have all now built a feature directly into their operating systems called optimized battery charging. Your phone learns your sleep schedule and deliberately holds the charge at around 80% for most of the night, only pushing to 100% in the final hour before you typically wake up. The phone is doing the smart charging for you automatically. You might be wondering, should you bother charging to only 80% manually? Should you unplug at midnight? Should you never let it hit 100 again? The honest answer is no. Not really. If you have optimized charging turned on, your phone is already handling it. If you use a normal overnight charge without that feature, the degradation is real but so small that most people will replace their phone for other reasons long before the battery becomes a serious problem. The The single most useful thing you can actually do is keep your phone cool while it charges. Take the case off at night if it gets warm. Do not charge it under a pillow. That matters more than the percentage. So the next time you plug your phone in before bed, you can do it without guilt. Your phone will not overcharge. Your battery management system will not let it. The myth was always bigger than the reality. What matters is heat, not habit. If you enjoyed discovering the real science behind this simple thing, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Share this with someone who has been unplugging their phone at midnight out of pure anxiety. And subscribe to History Behind Simple Things for more surprising truths hiding behind the everyday world. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.